I'm Bishop.
And I'm Dr. Steph.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of Our Life, Our Journey.
Our truth.
So excited to have you connected on today, and we appreciate you so much. Let me tell you, we are so geeked about you being on this YouTube channel with us every single week. It means a lot to us, and we don't take it for granted. We are blessed to have you and yours sharing with us. And I want to make sure while you're here, make sure you like, make sure you comment.
And subscribe and share with your friends.
So important. That subscribe button matters to us, and we appreciate it. Make sure you comment and share it. We want to hear. We hear so many comments out in the world, man. People tell us everywhere we go how blessed they are by this wonderful platform. And we appreciate you so much, and we thank you. It's just our desire to be a blessing to you. So stay connected. Follow Dr. Steph at Dr. Steph Walker right there on Instagram. Follow me at Joseph Walker 3. Go to josephwalker3.org to get our book, Becoming a Couple of Destiny. Get some of our merch out there. And you know what? We're excited because you know what's coming up soon?
Becoming a Couple of Destiny Conference.
Yes, we're so excited. We want to make sure you register, whether you're married, seriously dating, even if you're single, you want to just come in and get that impartation.
Glean,
get it.
That's right.
Make sure you register right there, BCOD25 at 78228, or just go on our website, go out there and get it. The Mount Zion Church is going to be bananas. Take a road trip with your friends. Come on down. We can't wait to see y'all once again. It's always going to be a blessing. Well, today we're going to talk, honey, about the importance of feeling secure in a relationship.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
That's a big one, isn't it? Security. You know, the security industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry in the world. You think about global security, you think about the military securing our borders, you think about security in banks, you think about security in every facet, even down to your home. But we don't oftentimes equate security in relationships to that. But I believe that whatever you secure, you place value on. How about that?
Yeah. Yeah.
You will never secure what you do not deem valuable.
Yeah.
And so for any relationship of value in your life, it's important that you provide a level of security to the person to whom you are involved. And oftentimes that translates into many of the things that you actively do, things that you proactively do, and things that you reactively do. Can I break that down?
Break it down, baby.
So proactively, if you are serious about a relationship, for example, when I set my mind on marrying this woman, I was very proactive about making certain that I was positioning myself financially, positioning myself in terms of insurances and things like that, because I wanted to make sure that I brought her into a situation that she felt financially secure. That's proactive, right? And also making certain that I did my best, right, to kill all the, roaches. I mean that from a metaphor, but you know what I mean. You gotta make sure that you purge, and you got to make sure a person comes in and doesn't have to deal with a lot of the historical baggage that you've had in your life. And so you got to do that. That's important. Now, actively, you have got to, I believe, be a good listener, and you got to be aware where your spouse or the significant other may be in regards to the stages of life, and you have to be willing to be sensitive and be able to minister to them and be aware of what's important to them and why. And I think that's active.
Like, what do you mean by that? For
Active.
example.
So, for example, people grow, we grow in different phases of our lives, right? And with that growth, sometimes we have to work through our own personal insecurities. We have to work through that. And it's important that the person that we're with understand that and constantly affirm us in areas where we may be doubting ourselves, or they may, build us up.
Basically, like helping the other person feel in a relationship security is not just about financial security, right? It's also about, am I secure in this relationship knowing that this person loves all of me?
Yeah.
And despite my shortcomings or these areas that they know that I'm working on, they don't see that as a reason to flight.
That's
they
it.
still will
Boom.
be present as I'm growing in these other areas that I need to grow
There it
in,
is.
and
Yeah.
providing the security to your significant other that you will love them through that and you support them in that area of growth and vice versa.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
yeah,
very clear,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
All right. And reactively, in terms of when you discover something
Mm-hmm.
about your significant other,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. Now that I know that,
Mm-hmm.
that's an area that's tender to the touch, or that's
Right.
something I want to make sure you feel secure with me, that I'm
Mm-hmm.
never going to exploit that,
Mm-hmm.
expose that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important. So I think that's what
Yeah.
I meant by,
So many different
yeah,
areas of security. No, I love
yeah,
that.
you
No, that's
see,
so important. Yeah. Like being able to know and trust that the person has your best interest at heart. That's another level of security. Being able to know that, I think this is, well, I know this is one of the conversations that
yeah,
we had in the
yeah,
very beginning before we got
yeah,
married.
mhm,
For me, I needed to understand where his values
mhm,
were placed. And so we had the conversation of like, what if you lost it all? Like, great, it's a hypothetical conversation. However, like trying to get an understanding, is your value in things? Is it in people's in their praises, or is it in God? And are you grounded? Like how would you respond to life if life throws you a curveball or a lemon? Are you going to jump off a bridge? Like what are you going to do? Would you just rebuild? Like having the security that you are mentally and emotionally grounded and spiritually grounded to where if whatever happens, that we are still in this together and
yeah.
that we can rebuild, we can grow, we can do whatever we need to do together.
Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
true. That's so true, and I think that's about having that shared value system. And I think we've
Mm-hmm.
talked about that. I think one of the things that I've discovered, and perhaps as you're watching this, you've discovered. I think one of the most important things outside of I think honesty
Yeah.
with women is
Mm-hmm.
security.
Yeah.
And when a man works and works and works, and he's never present, but there is no fruit to that,
Mm-hmm.
right? A woman,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard for a woman to find security. Would you agree with
Mm-hmm.
that? And
Mm-hmm.
what happens when a woman, I want to ask this question because you could ask it back to me. What happens when a woman doesn't feel secure?
That's very interesting. I like this question because I'm gonna just make this comment. Sometimes in a relationship, someone may say to you, "You seem really insecure." And you have to be mindful in terms of what that means, right? Because for me, it's never been, and not necessarily talking about our current marriage, but in just relationships along the way, it's never been, am I insecure as a person? I have a very strong sense of self and I'm very secure as an individual in terms of my self-esteem, etc. But sometimes when I was in relationships, I was not secure about the relationship in
Mhm.
terms of, did this have legs? Was it steady? Was it on a solid ground? Did I trust you? So when you're saying insecure, all of those factors play in. And just because a person is insecure about a situation does not make them an insecure person. It takes a very secure person to be themselves and to recognize a very insecure situation, right? And so I just wanted to put a pin there. And so going back to your question in terms of what do women do when they feel insecure, meaning insecure about the
Yeah,
relationship,
yeah,
they don't give their all. They don't put all their eggs in one basket. They're not very forthcoming in terms of honest about all of their dealings, right? If I'm insecure about this relationship, I'm not going to tell you about all my financial situation. I'm not going to share everything that I'm doing or where I'm trying to go because you might not be here next week, right?
right, right.
Like I'm not going to be able to open myself up and be vulnerable, not knowing or understanding where this is going, right?
Yeah, no, that's very good. I mean, that's good to hear because I know that women are out there saying, "Yes, Dr. Steph, say it, say it, say it, say it," and I think that's important, right?
Yeah.
And
And I think though, like in a marriage, it's different, right?
okay,
Like in a marriage, when you're starting to feel insecure within a marriage, then you're asking yourself, well, why am I insecure about this? What is it about their actions or the things that they're doing, that's making me feel this way? So then it makes me more inquisitive. So now I'm acting like freaking Inspector Gadget, like, where are you? Where you been? Who have you been with? Rah, rah, rah. And that should never be the case, right? Like, you shouldn't ever feel like you have to sort of police a whole big
Yeah.
adult human being,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. But well, I think there's a role that rejection plays in insecurity too.
Mm-hmm.
When people have felt rejected or
Mm-hmm.
unseen, maybe that's
Mm-hmm.
a better way of looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
I think about Leah in
Mm-hmm.
Genesis 29, who Jacob, was in a relationship with, married to, but wanted Rachel. And then all of a sudden now, even though he's engaged with her to have children, she's
Mm-hmm.
yet unseen
Mm-hmm.
because he is still turned his eye toward Rachel. And I think sometimes insecurity can be, Rachel can represent career, it can
Mm-hmm.
represent a lot of things. It
Yeah.
takes our focus and energy away from
Yeah.
the
Like when
relationship.
you don't feel like you're a priority,
Yes,
basically.
yes.
So
No
becoming
security in that. Yes,
secondary to
yes,
friends
yes.
or
Yeah,
to
you'll break your back to
family.
do something for the job, or break your back to do something for a
Mm-hmm.
friend. When it comes to the wife or the husband,
Or
I,
the
I, I
children
can't
or
make it
the.
happen. It's just too hard. It's just whatever, right?
Like you go out in the community and you do all these great things, and then
Yeah,
you come home and you're like, oh, I'm
you
tired.
have
I don't
nothing
want to do
left.
anything.
You have
Yeah.
nothing left. That's real. That's
Mm-hmm.
real, right? And I think
Yeah.
that is a very important thing,
Yeah.
because there is no security then. The
Yeah.
children don't feel secure.
Yeah.
The family doesn't feel secure that you're
Yeah.
gonna be there, but everybody else feels secure. Everybody
Yeah.
else feels your presence, but the
Mm-hmm.
ones who love you. That's
Yeah.
very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think about that being unseen or feeling unvalued, unappreciated.
Yeah, I think that goes back to feeling unappreciated, right? And because, I mean, full transparency, like we've had to deal with that, right? Like
Mhm.
over the years, sort of you growing into this person who focuses on the core four,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because for a long time, you were focused on doing all these things. And I think, we have grown to this place where you've grown to understand, wait a minute, what am I doing?
yeah.
Like, you need to prioritize the people and things in your life. And I think that you've done a fantastic job.
And it's been a process.
Yeah, it's a process.
And
It's
everybody
yeah.
deserves the right to go through that, the grace to go through
Yeah.
that, And I
Yeah.
think if you're watching this and you're saying, "Man, I'm trying to get there, but I gotta go out." It's like you're bound. I gotta go out and make this money for the family. Isn't this enough? I'm trying to do
Mhm.
this, but then I don't have time to do this, and you're like, how can you feel
There's
insecure?
seasons for
Yeah,
everything.
yeah,
And I think
man.
part of it is having that conversation with your significant others, letting them know, letting your family know, your wife, your husband, your significant other, your kids, whatever, letting those people know, look, this is where I am in my life or my career. This is how much time I feel like. This is the timeline. This is what I'm trying to do. And get everyone on board and everyone engaged in the process so that there's no misunderstandings. As long as we understand what you're trying to do,
Yeah.
but if we're sitting here in the dark and we don't know what's going on and you're MIA, like how is that helpful to any relationship?
Right.
Because you're wondering, like, are we really a priority? Do you actually care? You're saying that you do, but your actions say other. But when we know that your actions are targeted towards something that's beneficial to the whole, then that makes sense to us and we can get behind you and support you and be present and push you forward and make it easier as opposed to more difficult. Because isn't it easier to come home
Yeah.
after a hard day and be supported, get your back rubbed, get fed a full meal versus come home after a hard day and you come home to, where were you? What were you
Yeah.
doing? Why
Yeah.
is this?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so like it benefits you to make sure that
Yeah.
everyone's on board and is understanding.
Absolutely, I absolutely agree with that. One of the things that I think is interesting, and I want to bring it up is, and this is a big one, it's accountability.
Yeah,
What role does accountability play
huge.
in security?
Mm-hmm.
Can you be accountable
Mm-hmm.
uh, to your mate
Yeah.
and even to your job,
Yeah.
anything? And that brings a level of security. Like, for example, in this virtual facility, I use vocationally for a
Mm-hmm.
job. So you're working from home, great. Pandemic, great. Your
Mm-hmm.
job gave you freedom. They call you, you never answer. They see your post on Facebook, you walking your dog, you out doing this on their time. And they're like, what's going
And
on?
still expecting to check.
Still expecting to chat.
And
Okay.
projects are late. You
Yes.
over here doing this, that,
Yes.
and the
Everything's
third.
late.
Every time they
Everything's
ask you
yes.
something, you're
You get
making up an
upset.
excuse. What's wrong with them? Why they trying to police
So
me?
they don't have no security.
Right.
You making them feel insecure in their investment in you, and so it's a consequence because you're not accountable, and that situation goes south, right? Same thing that happens I think in relationships, right? You know, somebody has to call you 3 or 4 times, and you know you're never available. You're always in these ambiguous answers and spaces. And how does a person feel secure in that? It's not that the person's policing your every move, but there's a point of like, hey, I'm going to be here, I'm going here, and I had to detour and go here versus, I'm
You
just
said that you were going to be here,
why
but
we
then
have
you
this
all
conversation?
way over here on this other side of town.
What's up with that? So I mean, I think it's important. Accountability, man. And people don't like to be accountable, and I think that is, again, it goes to humility. It goes to no matter how much authority power you have, it means nothing if you're not under authority.
No, and yes, I agree with you wholeheartedly, but I think I would approach it from a different perspective. I think it's about respecting your loved one enough to want them to feel secure.
I
You know
agree.
what I mean? As opposed to like,
Which is proactive. This is the proactive
yeah,
part. It's the proactive part.
I don't want you to ever worry about X, Y, and Z, and that's
never.
why I'm doing this.
That's why I'm doing this. Yeah.
It's not because you asked me or not because I feel like you need this or because you want this or what have you, but I don't want you to ever to ever even be a thought in your head.
That's so good,
Yeah.
babe. That's so good. That is so good. Did y'all hear that? I don't want you to ever have to worry. I want you to go to your employer and say, I don't want you to ever have to worry about whether I'm going to be accountable because I'm going to do this and that and that. Go to the one you love and say, don't you ever worry about these things because I do this because I'm being proactive because that should never be a conversation.
That's how much I love you.
That's how much I love you. That's how much I love
important you are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's write that down. Girl, you good. You good.
So silly.
Our next book gonna be a beast. Y'all better hold on. We gonna get that. Let's go.
Yeah.
I am excited about that. But security is important. And I see a lot of people that walk around who have insecurities in their relationship. And I like how you put that because it doesn't mean that you're insecure as a person. It means that the thing, watch this, the thing you depend on.
Not depend on.
Okay. I want to set this up right.
Yes.
The thing that
is important.
It's important to you, of great value, has become fragile. This is how you have home insecurity, food insecurity, relational insecurity. The thing that's of value to me is now fragile, and now I have to tiptoe around it because I don't really know what the next day is going to bring, which then leads me into fear-based relationships. The fear of what could happen.
Yeah.
That is the first byproduct of insecurities. That I'm living in fear of what could happen. Torment of that in my mind is just unbearable, right? And I think it's important that you think about that.
Not knowing, well, what if this?
What if this? What if that is? What if that is?
Is that what they mean?
Yeah.
Is this what's going to happen next? And as opposed to being able to walk around confidently, understanding what the situation
I know
is,
what's
one
going
way or
on.
the other. Yeah.
How about that? I think that's what peace is. And I pray for that for you. I pray that you will be pre-active, right? Active and reactive.
Proactive.
Yeah, I said pre on purpose, but yeah, proactive. Because pre meaning you plan it out, you really are intentional.
True. Yeah.
And I pray that you will be that way so that you will not allow fear-based responses to govern a person who you love. People who love you don't deserve to live in fear about what could potentially happen. There's a level of security you have to know, I'm coming home. I want to be here. I want to be on this job. I want to give my best as a husband, as a wife, as a parent. I want my children to know I enjoy this. I want them to feel secure. It's something about that, right? I want when I walk in the house, I want my wife to say, Mufasa.
Aaron, Pierre, that's Mufasa. Aaron, Pierre, that's Mufasa. What? Aaron, Pierre, that's Mufasa. Aaron, Pierre, that's Mufasa. Aaron, Pierre, that's Mufasa. Aaron, Pierre, that's Mufasa. Get it. Aaron, Pierre, that's Mufasa. Go. Aaron, Pierre, that's Mufasa.
You know what I'm saying? That's like that whole thing. He's home, like daddy's home, and
Daddy's home.
that's important. That brings a level of stability to the family, and I think that
And if you have children, it sets a model and sets a tone in your child's life
yes,
to never have to wonder, is my dad coming home? Is my mom coming home? Like,
never have to worry about it.
do I have to worry? You know, like that. There's a great deal of safety and security when it comes to children in those environments.
I think that as I opened up talking about security being a multi-billion-dollar industry,
Yeah.
I think when you think about the Bible, you think about our relationship with Jesus Christ, who brings us the greatest security of all through salvation, right? No one can pluck you out of my hand. I think that when you think about that which you love, you want to feel secure.
Yeah.
I am secure in my relationship with Jesus Christ. I am secure in my salvation. So it doesn't matter what the enemy does. I know I'm saved. I know I'm going to heaven. That's a level of security. That's blessed assurance. When you have a relationship with somebody, your chief aim is to make certain every single day that that person feels secure. But you have a job that God has blessed you with. It's important that your employee feels like they made the right investment.
Yeah.
That they're all that good health insurance, all that good money that's going out to you,
Yeah.
that you're like, look, you ain't got to worry about me
Yeah.
because I'm going to do what I got to do
Yeah.
when I have to do it.
Yeah.
I want you to feel secure. That is of great value. And I think that's what the blessing of the Lord is over your life. And God can trust you with more, and He will bless you much more when you offer that level of security.
Amen. I can't agree with you more.
Amen. Well, I hope you've been blessed by this episode. And it's so important. I hope you will have a conversation with your significant other. Reevaluate your own life. Examine yourself. Figure out ways in which you can make people a little bit more secure around you. And we all have to do some soul searching, but we'll come out on top. And I pray you will, as we have. To God be the glory. I'm Bishop.
And I'm Dr. Steph.
Until next time.